all of your rehearsal, no.
You sure?
Well, my hair looks good though. After you've done all your rehearsal, you've broken the script down and you've rehearsed it, you've practiced it. Then it's like, let's stop, let's sit, let's walk through each moment of the script again, and let's discuss each moment emotionally. And just dig in and dig in. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And then you find all these little nuggets. So the one I wanted to talk about just real quick, and then I didn't want to talk tonight, is that she says at one point, if you guys remember in Castaway, he goes, let me get one thing straight, and she and the audience are all sure it's going to be something really heavy, like you've married somebody else, you had a child without me, you know, you betrayed me, and instead he goes, we have a football team now, and then all the pressure, all the stress and tension in the moment is released, and they can have a moment of just being friends again. And she goes, yes, and then in her excitement, she goes, you would have died, which is ironic, and then she goes, we lost the Super Bowl by 1 yard, by one lousy yard, and then we went, okay, let's stop and discuss what that means, that 1 yard. What does that mean, the football game? And I asked Allison, of the four of us sitting there, I said, how many of us have watched the Grey Cup last week? Even though Johnny Augustine, one of your fellow actors, was in the game, and none of the four of us watched it. How many of you watched the Grey Cup? So there you go, so we got 1 out of like 25 watched the Grey Cup. So I'm like, it's not obvious that they would have watched the Super Bowl. And there was no evidence that she's a big football fan. So we go, why did she watch the Super Bowl? And they go, oh, she probably watched the Super Bowl with her husband. And they maybe had the Super Bowl party. And maybe they had friends over, other couples, and who had also kids. And there was kids and stuff, and you know, beer and snacks, and she had a Super Bowl party. So she goes, you would have died. Oh yeah, they lost by 1 yard, one lousy yard. And then realize, oof, all the guilt and regret comes out. And then the next line is, let me get you a coffee. What do you want? What is it, the line? Next line?
I have
whole milk.
Yeah, so she just goes, and abruptly switches the subject. And we went, oh, the football game starts off as a means to be light and quickly becomes another regret. So she turns and she goes, what do you want in your coffee? She goes, we have whole milk, 2% skim. I'm so sorry we don't have half and half. And I stopped and said, what the fuck kind of family has every type of milk in the fridge? You know, that's weird. Like, we're a whole milk family. I don't know if you guys are a skim milk family or whatever. And then I went, oh, the whole milk is for the kid, and the parents use it for their coffee. The husband drinks the 2%, and she drinks the skim milk. So every single person in the family has their own version of milk, but no half and half for him. So the writer's actually written in another reason to be ostracized. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's so great. So if you know that, and then just deliver the line meaninglessly, but you've got this regret and she did such a nice job. Okay. I've been talking about steps, like the 5 steps of realization decision, and the 5 steps of emotion, and the 5 steps of whatever. But there's like 3 kind of really obvious steps in acting. The early actor says shit without knowing why they're saying it, and the audience goes, eh? And it seems really oddly psychotic. You know, the character just says a bunch of cities, and you go, that actor has no idea what they're saying. That's just amateur acting. Then you go to a bit of theater school or whatever, and then it's like every moment has meaning now. Like every moment. So you're like, yes, I've been to Paris and Amsterdam and London. And you're like, okay, chill on the fucking meaning. Like, it's just way too much meaning, you know? And then the professional actor, like the more master actor, knows that the character says it like it's meaningless, but it's sitting on a bedrock of meaning. And the audience has to lean in to find the meaning. And that's where the high-end acting comes, you know? And so the first time you said it, you were like, we have a whole milk, 2%, 1%, I'm so sorry we don't have half and half. And the half and half line we worked out. And then once we decided that on the 3, she just ripped it off again, but it had this meaning of, we have, I'm not gonna do it, I like it badly, but we have whole milk, 2%, 1%. We don't have, and I went, oh, there it is. It's like each one of those has meaning. Every single moment in the script, scripted, like spoken, silent, behavioral, nothing. Every moment is a little aperture into an entire universe, you know? And you've got to work all those things out. If you display all of that, you become William Shatner. Whole milk, 2%, 1%. Like everything has meaning, you know? But if you're, William Shatner, but if If you don't work out all the meanings, then it becomes meaningless, right? So that was great. So we went through the whole script and we're just discovering, like, what does the map mean? We spent 25 minutes talking about the watch. Now, it's not an invented backstory, it's an implied backstory. What is the watch? And, the watch was her now deceased father's watch, who was given to her mom, who gives it to her and says, you hand this to the men that you love, you're going to make a life with. On the night he goes into the airplane, she gives it to him as his Christmas present, even though she meant to do it in this big celebratory evening together, and instead she's giving it to him in the car as he's getting on an airplane. And he's like, oh, it's lovely. Then it pays no attention to what it means. And then for him, it becomes the symbol of his existence. Like, it saves his life. It's his lifesaver. He stares at her picture in this watch every moment he can on the island, and so it keeps him alive. And now he's driven in the middle of the night to her house to say, take it back, it's your family's, not mine anymore. So the watch becomes the symbol of his sacrifice and her desire not to break the bond. Like, so we talked in all, and then you just go, here's the watch. So the actor, it happens so fast, you throw it away, just throw it away. You have to figure those out. And then for God's sakes, don't show it. Know it, don't show it. There you go. Put that on fucking YouTube.